Everyone. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the MOSAIC changes that came to aviation here super recently, really in the last couple months. It's unlocked some capabilities that we as pilots didn't have before, specifically the inspection for your airplane. Now, but I've been working on and around my airplanes for 20 years with AMPs, done a lot of owner assisted annuals, done a lot of that kind of stuff. And now with this new rule, I'm able to go to a course and get a repairman certificate and essentially do my own maintenance on my experimental airplane. There are rules, of course, around that. It has to be mine, it has to be experimental and that kind of thing. I just wanted to talk a little bit through the process and so far how it's been. So signing up for the course was painful. A light sport inspection, it's called specifically LSRIA. So it's Light Sport Repairman Inspection Authorization course. It's a 2-day course. A friend of mine and I went and did that in Pennsylvania. Super good course. It was focused heavily on light sport, so a lot of Rotax and that kind of areas. Not so much Lycoming and Continental, but that's okay. A lot of legal stuff, a lot of how do I do the inspection, how do I sign it off properly, that kind of thing. So it was a really good course, really good 2 days. Very cold, happened to be the coldest week in Pennsylvania when we did it, but outside of that, it was a good flight over in the Barren and back. So I got some flight time out of it. Rainbow Aviation Services is the one I went to. These courses fill up so quick. We've been on a couple waiting lists in a couple of different areas, and we're lucky enough to get this one booked. So that's probably the longest pole in the tent. Is after that, and then we need to fill out some forms. Those forms specifically are the 8610-3. So the A form, you have to go to the FSDO. You actually have to go meet them in person. I'm going to fly somewhere and meet my guy. He's in Nashville at the international airport. So we'll probably go to, I don't know, Lebanon or something. He said he'd drive a little bit to meet us. So we fill out the form, sign it in person, and he issues us our certificate. The next step in that is I actually had a couple things I wanted changed on my operating limitations anyway. So those operating limitations from my plane, it was built in the 90s in North Dakota, said phase 1, which is the testing time frame, first 40 hours of the plane, has to be done within 40 miles of that airport. I'm not close to that airport, and there are some things that I'd like to do that makes me go back to phase 1, like aerobatic maneuvers, for instance. I want to be able to do loops and rolls. I can, certainly qualified and capable, but they were never signed off in phase 1, so I have to really put the plane back in phase 1 to go do that. And I didn't want to go to North Dakota to do it because I'm in East Tennessee. So I'm getting the operating limitations changed for that, as well as there's a paragraph in there that says you have to be either the builder with a repairman certificate, which I don't have because I didn't build the plane, or you have to be a mechanic. So an AMP is perfectly fine. So they just need to change that language. And that's all done through a portal. So it's like AWC. I've done that, submitted the paperwork. So far, my guy, Asheville, has been fantastic. He's very communicative, been talking back and forth over email and talked on the phone once. So this looks to be a much better process than it was maybe just a couple of months ago. I think there's some newer information that the FAA has to make this happen. So a bit of a long video, apologies for that, but any questions, if anybody else is trying to do the same thing, I'm happy to help answer questions or anything, anything at all along the process. I don't have my ticket yet, but I expect that will be here in the next, I don't know, month or two. And then this year, my condition inspection, I will be the one that does it all and signs it off. So really looking forward to that. I do a lot of the maintenance on the plane already. Being experimental, I've pretty much gutted it and done a lot of work there. So I'm not terribly worried about that. It's all about the legal stuff at this point. It's not the skill set. Catch you next time.